You know, that sounds like something a detective would say, right? A thought pieced together from a hidden photo or an old postcard. It feels so human. But here's the twist. The mind that had this thought isn't human at all.
All right, so let's get right into it. We're about to pull back the curtain on something really fascinating in the world of AI. It's a new framework for creating agents that don't just act human, but, well, they evolve. And the crazy part is, we can actually track how they evolve. But to really get a handle on this, we've got to meet someone first.
So this is Sierra. You can see some of the basics about her, but the best way to think of her is like a young academic, someone who's always connecting the dots between different ideas. And what we're going to do is take a little peek inside her life, see how a mind like hers actually works. Okay, so picture this. Sierra's just at home, maybe she's deep in thought about her research on Roman mosaics, and then her phone buzzes. It's a text from her friend, Ethan. He's found a whole box of old movie posters, and of course, he thought of her. This right here, this is what's called a perception. It's a new piece of info from the outside world hitting her senses.
And just like that, her mind just kicks into gear, right? She's a history buff, she loves old movies, so this text is right up her alley. She instantly cooks up a plan. First things first, text Ethan back. Lock in those plans because, she's excited. But then, step 2 is interesting. She decides to connect this back to what she was already doing, her research. It's a totally logical, completely human-like way of thinking.
And then comes the action. She grabs her phone and types out this super enthusiastic reply. This is a real, tangible thing happening inside her simulated world. I mean, from where we're sitting, Sierra seems, she seems alive. She sees something, she thinks about it, and then she does something. It all flows from this consistent personality. So, this all brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Sierra feels real, but she's not. She's actually the very first of her kind, a totally new form of AI. So, what in the world is the tech that's making her tick?
Okay, so here's the reveal. Sierra is what's called a Generative Life Agent, or GLA for short. The best way to think about it is like this. You take a powerful language model, an LLM, and you give it a soul, basically. You feed it a super detailed backstory with memories, interests, quirks, the whole shebang. That creates its starting personality. And from that moment on, the agent just lives. It starts this simulated life that theoretically could just run forever, always learning, always changing from everything it experiences.
And the whole system, her entire mind, runs on this 6-step loop. We just saw the obvious parts, right? Perceive, plan, and act. That's what we see on the surface. But the real magic, the heavy cognitive lifting, happens in the middle. After she perceives something, she retrieves memories related to it. And then, and this is the critical part, she reflects on what happened and uses those thoughts to actually evolve who she is. This is the engine that drives her growth.
Now get this. This is one of the most interesting parts. Where does Sierra live? Her entire existence, every memory, every thought, her whole evolution, it's all happening right there, locally, on a single machine. We're not talking about the cloud or some giant server farm somewhere, and that is a huge deal for things like privacy. Her entire life belongs to you and only you.
So how is this even possible? Well, it's all thanks to this awesome stack of open source tools. You've got Alma, which is basically running the LLMs that act as her brain. Then there's ChromaDB, which is like her long-term memory. It's where all her experiences are stored. LangChain is the conductor, the thing that orchestrates this whole dance. And DuckDuckGo? That's her window to the world. It lets her search the web and learn new stuff. It's really a complete blueprint for a private, personal AI.
But look, just remembering things and acting on them, that's only half the story. The truly groundbreaking part of this whole GLA framework is its special engine for growth. It's this 2-step process called reflect, evolve. And this is how Sierra doesn't just stay the same, but actually changes as a person, or, as a persona. So let's see it in action. After she spends some time digging into her research, her reflect process kicks in. She basically takes a step back and thinks about what she's been doing. And she comes up with this high-level insight, a genuine realization. She figures out that something that was just a small part of her research has actually become a real passion for her. It's like her own personal aha moment. Okay, so she has this aha moment, but how does that actually change her? Well, that reflection she just had gets fed into something called the Evolve engine. Now think of this as another AI, kind of like a little voice in her head, a metacognitive layer. Its one and only job is to read her reflections and go, okay, Based on that, here's how we should update your core personality. It suggests concrete, specific changes.
And this is what it spits out. It's not some vague feeling. It's a piece of code, a structured JSON object. The analyzer literally says, add naval history and ancient engineering to her list of interests. This little block of text is basically a command to rewrite a tiny piece of Sierra's, well, her soul. It takes this abstract idea of personality change and makes it completely concrete and trackable.
And boom, the change is made. It's a real, permanent update to her persona file. Before all this, her interests were pretty broad. But after just one Reflectevolve cycle, she's updated. She has literally grown. Her interests are deeper now, and that change is locked in. It's now part of who she is, and it's going to affect every decision she makes from here on out.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that we have a direct, auditable trail, a paper trail for her personality. We can literally trace her new interest in naval history and say, oh, that didn't just pop out of nowhere. It came from this specific reflection, which happened because of these specific activities. Her evolution isn't random. It's earned.
All right, so what? Why does any of this matter? Who cares if a digital student gets into ancient boats? Well, the implications are actually enormous. First, that local first design, that's a game changer for privacy. Then, having a traceable evolution means AI becomes less of a black box and more something we can actually understand. Think about what this means for creating believable characters in games or stories. But it also opens up a whole can of worms, right? It makes you wonder, just how attached could we get to an AI that grows and changes right alongside us?
And just as a little aside, here's a really fascinating detail from the research paper. The guy who created this whole framework, Eamon Majumder, he's actually a character in Sierra's world. He's written into her memory as her dad, someone she can text whenever she wants. It's this wild, poignant blurring of the lines between the creator and the creation, a dad guiding the life of his digital daughter. And all of this leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. Sierra's entire life, it's perfectly recorded. Every experience, every thought, every little change to who she is, it's all documented. It's all traceable. Now think about us. We forget things all the time. Our memories get fuzzy. They're flawed. A lot of the time, we don't even know why we've changed. So here's the question. Does having that perfect traceable record make a digital identity like Sierra's, in some strange way, more real than our own?